Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. And today I am in Aurora HDR. As I've said here in previous videos, I don't shoot brackets really very much anymore, and therefore I don't really do a lot of traditional HDR work. But I was kind of playing around with Aurora HDR with a single exposure, and I like it, and it just does a really good job. And the thing I like about it, well, there's a lot of things I like about Aurora HDR, but the thing that I'm going to talk about here that I like about Aurora HDR is that it gives you a unique kind of look. It gives a unique kind of pop to a photo that I don't feel like I can get anywhere else. And so I thought I'd walk through a single exposure edit in Aurora HDR because one of the things I'm thinking about is Luminar Neo's coming. I'm going to be in Neo a lot, and I am hopeful that one of two things happens. Or both of these things happen. The first one that I hope happens is that they create a full plug-in workflow for Aurora HDR. So you can take a single exposure or multiple brackets from Neo, go over, edit, do whatever you want to do in Aurora HDR, click apply, and have it drop back into Neo. I don't know if they're going to do that. I'm hopeful. With layers, I assume it's possible because that's one of the things they've talked about. That's the first thing I am curious about and hopeful for. The second thing, and this would actually be better, and that is take whatever components of the engine that runs Aurora HDR and helps me create that HDR look, stick it in Neo as like a filter or some kind of I don't know what you call it, like sidecar thing, a different, not leaving Neo, but like within Neo, be able to go to some other tab or something and say, hit it with that HDR engine and do some magic, and then go back and apply all the other magic capabilities that you're going to have in Neo to that photo. That would be ideal. Anyway, I'm getting off topic because admittedly, I have no idea what they're going to do. But today, let's take a look at Aurora HDR. So here's the photo. This is a raw file. That's what it started like. It's a single exposure. I dropped it in. It looks like that, which is not really the look that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through a little bit of my editing workflow here to show you how I like to pop photos in Aurora. And, frankly, like I said, you can just get some nice looks out of it. So I do need to brighten that exposure. I'm going to add some contrast as well, like mid-20s. And then one of my favorite tools, and I love this tool, and that is Smart Tone. I'm going to add that. So already, honestly, just a much better looking photo. I'm also going to adjust the temperature and tint. In this case, I'm going to drag the temperature to the right. So I'm going to not brighten it. I'm going to warm it up a little bit. So maybe like about a 14. And then I'm going to take the tint up as well. And I'm going to go to about a 30, 31 there. So something about like that. So if I look at the before, darker, bluer, and now brighter, a bit warmer and more colorful. So I'm liking what I have. I'm going to keep moving. And the other thing that I really like, there's, again, lots of things I like about Aurora HDR, but I love this HDR Enhance. This HDR Clarity is awesome. I'm going to go to about a 30 there. And the Smart Structure is also awesome, and I'm going to go to about a 30 there. So if I turn this off, if you look at the before, there it is, and the after, there it is. Now, what this does is really pop some of the detail and the crunch, which I like. And on a city street scene like this was Prague at about 5 in the morning. Nobody's out, of course. And it was just beautiful. It creates nice crunch, and I like that in some buildings and streets. I don't necessarily always like it in the sky. So one of the cool things, and I'll show this in a minute, is you can add multiple adjustment layers in Aurora HDR. Now, the other thing to be aware of is, and another reason why I hope that it's integrated in some form or fashion with Neo, is there are spots in the sky. There's no spot removal tool in Aurora, so you got to go somewhere else to do that if you're using Aurora. I'd like to be able to do all that in one place. Again, me just being hopeful. We shall see. Anyway, that's all fixed, if you will, and I'm going to give a little bit of image radiance of about a 15, simply because I like that. It gives a nice kind of a soft glow. And then I'm going to go over to details, and let's get here. And I'm going to go to about a 10 on small, so something pretty light, kind of a light touch. And I've got about a 30 on medium, and that's just giving it a little bit of extra kick. In fact, maybe that's a little too much. Maybe I'll pull that down to about 20 and maybe about a 7 or 8, something like that. I don't want to overdo it, but I do like my city streets and stuff like that to be a little bit crunchier. So here we are. If you look at the before and after so far, we've come a long way. because of all the things I've done, you can see the spots in the sky much more prominently, which I don't like. And while I can't take them out, you can do something about it. And I'm going to do that now. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and click on plus, add new adjustment layer. And on this adjustment layer, I'm going to go into HDR Enhance. And I'm going to get this microstructure, and I'm going to go -100. And if you look at the sky, that just did a whole lot for me. So I'm going to go ahead and brush that into the sky. And I'm going to admit right now, I'm going to do a really sloppy job. I'm not going to try to get around these edges very well. I'm just kind of covering the area so that you get the idea of what I'm doing. My precision here is incredibly low, just to be clear. So if you want to take a look at the mask, you can always just click on Show Mask. I've pretty much covered the sky and some other stuff, but we're all friends here, so don't hold it against me. But I've got that mask in place. I've softened the sky. That's the sky beforehand. Spots are more visible. It's got a little bit more crunch in it because I did so many other things on that base layer. But I've just smoothed it out. Smoothed? Gosh, that's kind of hard to say. Anyway, it's smoother, and all that stuff is gone. And so I'm going to take that, close that, and I'm going to go down to HSL, and I'm going to go into the saturation of the blue. I'm going to pull that down just a little bit, and I'm going to pull down the luminance just a little bit as well. I'm basically creating a little bit darker kind of look to the photo. So, not to the photo, but to the sky. So if I do the before and after, there it is before, and there it is now. Now I should point out, if you don't have Luminar Neo yet, they actually have a special running now that includes Neo, and you can get Aurora HDR at a huge discount and things like that. I'll put a link down below. I don't want to get into kind of that marketing talk, if you will, here in this video. But if you weren't aware of that, you can get a pretty nice deal if you buy some of these things in combination. That runs until the end of the month. Again, link down below if you want to check it out. But so far, like I said, we've got a nice edit coming along. There it is how it started, and there I am now. So brighter, more vibrant, that sort of thing. But I'm going to add another adjustment layer. And this time I'm going to come in with the basic smart tone, and I'm going to do about a 35, I don't know, something about like that. And I love smart tone, as I've said before, but I'm also going to come in and add a vignette. So I'm going to drop this vignette in, and I'm going to place the center, which I love to do. I'm going to drop it a little bit lower because I want a little bit darker look in the sky. So I'm going to drop that a little bit lower, add a tiny bit of brightness, not too much. But if I turn this off, you can see the before without the vignette, and now with the vignette, definitely kind of collapsing, the center of the photo, tightening that up, which is what a vignette does. I actually think I might take the inner brightness down just a little bit and maybe decrease the size and the amount, tighten up that vignette a little bit, and that's giving me a nice look there on that city street. So let me turn this layer off. There it is before. It's funny how when you've applied a vignette and then brighten the center of it and then turn it off, in my eyes at least, I'm like, the exterior, the outside of the frame is so bright and it's so dark in the center. Then when you turn it back on, you're like, so much better. That's the way my eyes see it. I don't know if you do the same, but that just looks really dark now to me in the center, and that looks much better. That might be a little bit too bright still. Maybe I'll pull this down a little bit more. Maybe I'll increase the size of the vignette. I don't want to overdo it, but I definitely want some of that kind of focus, if you will, which I think a vignette helps you do really well. So again, before and after. Now there are countless things I could do with this photo, but I'm quite happy with it. That is a full workflow of this one, again, before and after. And if you do the sliding compare, you can see that I've made a huge impact on the photo. And honestly, it's that tone mapping engine, which is actually powered by AI. It says on their website, they've been using and doing AI kind of things for quite a while now. And Aurora HDR, I think this version is 2019. It's whatever the most recent one is. It's been a couple of years since they've done an update, but it still holds its own. It's a great product. I love it, and I still use it some. I don't do a lot of brackets anymore when I'm out shooting, although I've got a lot of brackets in my library, so I may, do some future videos where I merge brackets and do things like that. But I definitely will continue to use Aurora HDR for single exposure edits because, as you can see here, you can just get such a nice pop out of the photo. And actually, now that I'm back here, I might actually go into the temperature and maybe I might cool that off a little bit. I don't want to do too much, but I feel almost like it's a little too warm, and maybe a little bit of tint as well. I like to play with tint a lot. I like that look. I think I like that a little bit better. If I turn this off, that's also going to impact the smart tone because I'm turning off that entire filter. But I think it looks a little bit better. I feel like it was a little bit too warm. So I cooled that a little bit, added a slight more tint. Anyway, I am forever fidgeting with my photos. I'll often finish it. I'll do a video and I'll finish a photo and then I'll sit here and say, you know what? I should have done this or should have done that anyway. So I'm going to go fidget with this one some more. The point is, Aurora HDR, still really useful despite not getting any feature updates or anything like that in the last couple of years. Still a great product. I'm going to keep using it. I love having it for things like this where I can just really pop a street scene and bring it to life. That's all I had for you in this one, my friends. Just kind of a walkthrough of Aurora HDR. It's fun. It's awesome. I still enjoy having a go at it with some single exposures and maybe some brackets here and there. Hope it gives you some ideas. Thanks for watching. If you guys haven't yet subscribed, be sure and hit that button, and I will see you soon, my friends. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, adios.